welcome to another high-powered episode of the High Voltage Live Show. I'm your host, Willie Snyder from NEC Code, coming to you live from the Mile High City in Denver, Colorado. Joined by my awesome co-host, Mr. King James Stalkup, over there in Longhorn Country, giving old hook and horns from the Mile High City. And King James has just been so busy and doing so much stuff. We're actually going to do a podcast on Sunday to go through all like his publications and all his new stuff that he's got going. I've been asked like multiple times by people asking if he's got the publication out for the 2026 code change, and it is out. So we're going to be posting links in there. And another big thing, we hit 40K boys over at the ECD, the new ECD group that I made, and there's another ECD admin, David Engelhardt. Hey, welcome in, electrical wizardry over there, David Engelhardt. Thanks for joining us tonight. And like I say, it's pretty awesome. We just hit 40,000. We're actually blowing past it. We'll be at 41,000 by the time we do the podcast on Sunday. So that group's just growing, and we're having fun. We're doing a lot of, different stuff on code changes, and we're getting involved in the code making process, and it's a lot of fun. I appreciate you kind of teaching me some stuff, James, and like I say, we've kind of taught each other some things here and there as far as, different things I know possibly from the field that you haven't seen, and different things you've seen on your end that you haven't seen, and we just try to share it with everyone out there and just have fun doing it. And like I say, that's the whole point of the myth. And, like a lot of people, there was a lot of good participation we had on the myth of the week this week. And so many good comments. And a lot of people were saying, this and that. And so we're going to put the myth to bed tonight. And that's what's so cool. I appreciate you putting these podcasts together, James. It's so much fun for me. And like I say, feel free to reach out to me. Like, if there's a question you have for King James or a question you want to ask live, feel free to ask away. I mean, you might not want to be putting 125% in your load calculation, but you're not gonna get like all the sugar-coated answers you want. But especially if you're all weed man over there, just wanting the code to say what you want it to say, then probably not going to have a good day, so.
More than likely you're not.
It is what it is. We had a celebrity stop by the studio today.
Broncos country, let's ride. Broncos country, let's ride.
All right.
Doing pretty good.
Thanks, Russell. Appreciate you. We got the Raiders tonight. We have Daniel J's prediction. I'm going Broncos 31-0.
Who are they playing?
Broncos Raiders.
Yeah, I'll predict y'all win. I'll say 31-10.
Yeah. I mean Brock Bowers scored 3 touchdowns, so it could be 31-21, but I don't know. I think there could be like a little bit of a goose egg going on. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see what happens with that. But I really appreciate all the participation I had in all the groups. We had a lot of participation in Electrical Wall of Shame, a lot of participation in the electrical code discussion for awesome electricians. And thanks to all you awesome electricians out there, all 40,000 of you awesome electricians out there making that group awesome. We have a really cool audio. We're going back in the time machine about 6 months. And this is like before the Standards Council meeting and what they decided on EVSE. And this is Thomas Dimitrovich. He has a podcast out there. Really good electrical engineer, but they got a little too big for their britches. So let's see what he says before. This is like right after the CAM meeting. And feel free to stop me anytime, James, if there's something you want to add. And I think you'll enjoy this. Here we go.
Now the challenge on the EV side is we don't have a body count. I don't have people dying from their EV chargers or electric vehicles. Now, on one hand, I don't have the data. On the other hand, I don't need data. For me, personally, I don't need data. I don't need a body count to make a requirement for GFCIs. if we understand the hazards, if I understand the hazards, I'm just speaking for myself, if I understand the hazards and I know I can avoid a body count, it's beautiful.
Stop. That's a bunch of crap.
How are you going to avoid a body count that you don't have?
That's right. This is my whole point behind all of this, is who does he work for? The people that sell the GFCI devices.
Yeah.
And for him to make a statement, basically what he just told everybody is it doesn't matter. They've had that equipment out there for 30, 40 years. No accidents, anything, but we are the safety police. And we're going to come out and we're going to tell you we need to sell these devices, therefore we're going to require it. He basically just clarified what I've been saying. I don't remember this video, him saying that, but this clarifies exactly what I was talking about. They didn't have the technical merit to add 210.8F to do what they did, and then come back after the fact and then say, oh, this applies to AC units. This is exactly what I'm talking about, having certain members on these code-making panels, and they're not qualified, and NFPA needs to get a handle on this, because saying stuff like this is basically saying we don't care what the procedures are to follow in order to add something to the code. There was no technical merit. It's just his opinion. Oh, we're going to put it there this way. We don't have no body count. And furthermore, and this proves the fact once more and clarifies exactly what he's saying. They didn't do any testing or anything and didn't even take into consideration compatibility issues or anything. They just wanted to sell a device and was telling people to put it on a Class A device, which would trip and not hold. This is exactly what I've been talking about.
Well, and what is he pertaining to? What is he referring to?
It doesn't matter.
No, I'm saying what code reference? Because this was actually going to be a change for 2026. This 62554B got deleted.
Yeah, it did.
So,
and he was out there fighting against it. And then you had Jeremy and all his cronies out there, and Ryan Jackson, all of them pushing and saying, oh, see there, it went to the general floor and the code-making panels. Everybody disagrees with y'all. And what we say, wait till it gets to the Standards Council once again, and you will see exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, David. So the reason I wanted to run this again was because I don't think it was quite a few weeks ago, because this was before the Standards Council decision. So what happened was 62554B got passed all the way through the CAMs and everything, got unanimously voted on in the CAM process and the NITMAN process, and then it went to Standards Council, and then now it reverted back and it's just 62554. There's no B anymore. So
you know what I think? I think, and he brings up a good point there, and I think about this. Basically, what should happen, everybody should share what we're talking about here so they can hear this kind of stuff. And I almost feel like this should be done every week. It just put it out there every week. This is what they said. This is what they said. And show everybody that they're trying to put stuff in the code, and it doesn't matter if they had the technical merit to do so or not. I think this needs to spread to everybody through all the groups and everything. Everybody should be sharing this, because this isn't right. It just isn't. And, and what happened was, like Bill was saying, the EVSE people had to go in there and they transcript our podcast, which, of course, you listen to Jeremy, and they were all laughing at us. Why would you be laughing at us if they're actually using it to prove the point? And they had to go in and fight this. And it's reminiscent, and I think all manufacturers need to listen to this podcast. Manufacturing this equipment, you need to go fight and go for the Standards Council and argue this. Where's the technical merit to do this? They don't have it.
Yeah.
And for them just to come out and start saying you need this GFCI protection on all this different equipment, and then lying to people saying there's an outlet there when it's hardwired. I mean, this is ridiculous. It really is.
Yeah. I mean, they got shot down in a major way, so that was the whole reason I was running this again, David. But I'm gonna look out there and try to see like how long ago it was. I wanted to say it was like back in like June or July. Like I wanted to say it was like a while ago.
I remember something a while back. I was thinking that was right around into May, June or something. We were talking something about this because I was saying it's going to have to go to the Standards Council. And they basically said, y'all don't know what you're talking about. You don't understand the code making process. But what the hell do I know? I've only been doing it for 30 years, and I actually used to go to those things. And for them to say we don't know, and then it happens the way we say it, that's why we need to push this stuff out here, because you get a lot of these guys out there, and they're telling all these people, and they've been on these social groups for a long time, and people take them at face value and believe what they say, you know. And it needs to get out there to let them know that these guys, that most of them work for a company or an association, and they're told to do how they're going to vote. I'm telling you, I've been there, I've seen it.
Yeah, and you know, this is kind of the reason I do this too, David, because David makes a good point that, you know, the podcasts need to be recognized, you know, for their discussions regarding the code changes. And yeah, dude, I 100% agree. It's the thing is, that's been kind of my problem with it. The whole reason why I'm kicked out of all these groups, the reason why I'm not allowed in all these different things on Facebook, is because I don't agree with their interpretations when they say XYZ. And so what do? They kick me out and they silence my voice. You know, and that's cool, that's fine. But so I can go on my podcast and I can have a voice. You know, and you know, dude, I want to say, I can guarantee you Daniel is not gonna have as bad a luck this week. Like I put one right down your alley last week. This week, I think this one's more aligned for Daniel this week.
What's it up?
Oh man. What did I do this week? I did. Oh man. It was a. I want to say it was like a sports trivia, but it's like it's kind of up your alley, but it's not like classic. It's more. Oh no! I remember what I did. I did it on OSHA.
Oh wow! Okay, I'm in.
Yeah. But it's more modern OSHA though, so it's not classic OSHA.
Okay.
So I don't know. We'll see. So just agree, Daniel. Just agree. Just copy King James's answers on the ones he says he knows, and then if you don't think he knows them, then Daniel's probably gonna get you. There's some good ones in there. Like there's some technology that might not even be invented yet that I put in there. We'll see. Yeah, I remember because you were saying something about you didn't know something on OSHA or something. You're like, yeah, I don't know something about that. I'm like, next week on the quiz. So I made sure I put in some good ones that you might not know. But no, it's so much fun doing these, and we'll just continue rolling here.
That's poetry right there, because now I don't have to look at it and see and know that there's a family without somebody. So I think that there are people that look at these solutions and say something could happen. A car could hit that charger, anything could happen, and if it does, we need to provide protection. But when I talk to the Teslas of the world, the charge points of the world, and others, they're not sitting there saying we don't want GFCI. They're saying we need something that is compatible, that addresses other safety concerns. And
we stop right there.
Now you remember it.
Hey, let's put GFCI on a transformer that sits out on the pad out by the street. Somebody could run into that. Hey, let's put GFCI protection on that pole out there. Somebody could accidentally hit the pole. I mean, this is ridiculous. This what if game, that is not how you design the code. If you're going to say what if, just put protection on everything. Anything could happen at that point. But And that goes back to what I'm saying. That what if game, that does not reflect reality. And if you look at reality, look at the data. How many deaths have occurred due to not having GFCI protection? I
Oh
want
wow,
to see that.
that's awesome, David. David attended a virtual OSHA event, so wow, what a coincidence. He might actually beat you this week on the quiz.
I'll tell you
We'll see.
what, when I remember when we were on the 70 committee and Joe Pipkin was on there, he was over the OSHA stuff. And he's the one that asked us to write our first publication on OSHA. We call it the OSHA Red Book, and then we did the black one, which one was general industry, the other was construction. Then we did the yellow book, which was subpart R and subpart V. And OSHA's top 10. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Oh wow. Yeah.
But
Dude, top tens are nice.
you know what was really interesting when we got into that was they actually, when we did the high voltage side and tied it in with the National Electrical Safety Code, they actually sent us this write-up they had and what their point of view was, and we added that into the book. OSHA sent us stuff just because we were writing the book, and they recommended that first one we come out with, the red OSHA, and they were using that because what it did, it was tied in. It was basically OSHA 1910 302 through 308, and it tied in with a lot of safety stuff that was in the National Electrical Code. That's all it was. And then you had 331 through 335, and when we started getting into the 70E, doing all the arc flash, arc blast, and all that, that's when the rest of it got tied in.
Right.
So, and that's when we changed it from the red OSHA book to the 70E book.
Right. Okay.
So,
All right. Well, this is like pretty much almost done. I think. Like.
I can respect that. So I think we're going to get a solution on the market. I think that these codes and standards are going to fare that. Everybody's positioning and arguing and feeling passionate about their position. I love the passion. You ought to see the passion in the room during our electrical section meeting. It was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. So anyway, Don Veneer, my point is that, Freddie B, eliminate the allowance for a receptacle. Oh, Fred, that's another good point. Should we just require all the EV chargers to be hardwired? Is that what you're saying? That's an interesting perspective.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. But what's pretty funny about that is him saying that, oh, should we just make them all be hardwired? Well, I thought that wasn't a solution for safety. You know what I mean? Like, I thought it was the same hazard whether it's hardwired or cord and plug connected. You know, and that's why I attacked this 62554B so hard and got it pushed so hard, was because I loved it. You know, I loved the fact that it was a point I knew they were gonna push. I knew either way they went. If they went this way, then we were right, and if they went this way, we were gonna have to be proven right, which they ended up doing. And it was really funny because I thought they were just gonna instantly reject it, because I didn't feel there was anything wrong with 62554 the way it was written, because you have a receptacle, you put protection. The end. You know, that's so simple. But I went and I added outlet to that, where I said receptacles and outlets, and they jumped all over it. You know, they basically took 210.8 and cloned it and put it in 625. And I mean, there was like literally pages that were deleted by the Standards Council.
Yep.
And to me, that was just nothing more honorable to me than to watch them do that. Well, now we're starting to see like these other products coming out, these backyard solar that you can install yourself. There's all this different stuff, and they're using them right now in Europe. And big shout out to Bryce Nesbitt, because Bryce Nesbitt brought this to my attention. And there's like a lot of different products that are coming from Europe and that are already being used, and they're already being used safely. There's not been any deaths. There's not. And to me, the one thing I remember that you did say about this, David is correct. We did play this clip before, is you were saying that's fear mongering. What Tommy's doing.
That's right.
He's fear mongering and saying, "Oh, a car could hit it. Oh, this could happen." I don't want to be the one saying there's a family member missing, and it's like, okay, when's that ever happened? Zero, never. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, yeah, if you had some instances and stuff, yeah, you're standing on pretty firm ground, but they're not. And the whole thing is, so out of this whole entire thing, when it comes to 210.8F, 625.54B, all this stuff that they've tried to push into the code, they've had one death by improper wiring, and they're just been kind of dancing on this whole one thing and just trying to use it to promote and push. And it was really funny to hear like Ryan Jackson going, "Oh man, for the first time in 30 years, they haven't expanded GFCI." Yeah, why? Because there's people fighting back against it now.
That's right.
Like, they've never been fighting back against it. Now all of a sudden people fight back against it, and now you can't expand it? Oh, so sad.
Mm-hmm.
And, it doesn't bother me one bit. I'm like, whatever. We'll keep doing it. But it's pretty awesome, so I appreciate it. But we'll go on to the meme.
All right, meme of the week, folks.
Yeah. Dude, that meme like hit home so good for me because you would not believe how many times you go on the jobs. Like, for one, you get like these totally psycho painters that are just so mad at the job because they do this like crazy stuff. But I'm always like friends with the painters, but like there's like so many good stories I've had with like the painters. Like one time, the painter's like, "Hey man, you got a key for that door?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Can you unlock it?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I unlock it and I put my hand on it. He just painted it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "What the hell, dude?" He goes, "Oh man." I was like, "Where's your sign?" But it was just really funny. And then I was like, "Oh man, now I'm gonna be lapping stock of the painter party," But it was.
I remember we built our house. I went in and I had extra receptacles put in and had some lights put in and stuff that I wanted. I went in and I marked everything so I'd remember where everything was. And they covered up two of my receptacles and one of my lights. And I went in there and I said, "Can you get the sheetrockers back out here?" I said, "There's a receptacle there. I went in there, there's one there, and there's a light right over there." And he goes, "How do you know there?" I said, "Because I made sure I had all these extras put in and I marked everything so I'd remember where I told them to put everything." And went out there right exactly where I told them was, and they had to cut it all back in. And they were just getting ready to paint, and I told the painters, "Don't you paint anything yet." Because, I was out of town and I just got back and the painters were going to start the next day and they need to come in and get the walls fixed in those areas, So they started on other parts of the house, but I told them, "Don't you do nothing in these."
Yeah, what's funny about that too is how they said, "We're gonna bring the flooring guys in at the same time," and like, dude, I don't know what it is. It is so hilarious. We have like a holy war between electricians and floor guys. Like every single job we go on, we had this one. They're like, "Yeah, floor guys are starting tomorrow," And it's like, all right. And we come pull up on the job, and they literally had the whole entire job site, like all the way around, totally roped off. We couldn't go in any door,
Oh, yeah.
And I went right to the GC's trailer. I'm like, "Dude, what do you expect us to do, man?" He's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Dude, they got every door blocked off in the whole building." He's like, "What?" He's like, "They can't do that." I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "Dude, we're going to have to go home, dude. We're going to have to go to another job."
I remember we were building. They took and they were putting this wall up, and they had everything framed, but one of the walls, it was coming down, and they had a one of the 2x4s, and it moved like this. It wasn't perfectly straight, and you could see the bolt in it, and they were just going to cover it up and just try to fix it. And I walked in, and I said, I called the contractor. I said, the builder, I said, you need me out here tomorrow, and come out there, and I said, that wall needs to come up. I said, look at that. I said, that's going to look like crap down on the floor. And I said, I can see that. I've made sure they had them walls straight and everything. And that builder, he goes, I think you're being a little ticky-tacky. I said, no, I'm not. I said, you're going to put the sheetrock on there, and then you're going to have to beat that off to get it to where it'll flush up. I said, it isn't going to look good. I told him, I said, you honestly can't see that. He goes, well, it's just next work. I said, no. I said, you don't want to pay the money. I said, I know what it is. I said, you need to make your builder, the framer needs to pay for that. They shouldn't have put that down that way. And they come back, they were pissed off about having to do it. But I was like, it's not that hard to look to see if you got a bad piece of wood, if it's it's not straight, especially when you're doing walls. Like, God dang, dude.
Oh, yeah. Looks like, oh, dude, Daniel knows so well, dude. We get to these rest jobs, and they're like, yeah, we need these lights on tomorrow. Just like, oh, yeah, dude. And then they block off. Oh, dude, I hate that. Like, yeah, they block off like half the job, and they're like, yeah, get those lights turned on. You're like, how am I going to do that? I can't, like, am I going to hover? I'm going to use my electrician jetpack.
Yeah.
What we ended up doing was we ended up working it out to where we split the building in thirds. Yeah. And we said they could have this third, and then we'd work over here, and then once they got done, they'd protect the floor, then we could move over to that third, and then they could get this third, and then they could protect the floor, then we could work in that third, and dude, the whole time I was like, Bill, a couple of your guys are over there messing with the floor guys again. It's like, dude, really? Like, oh, I was getting so mad. Like, I'm like, what? And, oh, man, look, he's got his little camouflage Gopher fan name again. Oh, man. And, yeah.
I don't even know what he's talking about there.
Yeah. I mean, now he's saying that, you put the 125% in when he was just arguing that you don't, so.
I'm not sure what he's talking about. But for a continuous, is it 724 amps at continuous? Is that what he's talking about?
I guess that's what he's saying.
I mean, 724. Let's see. Let me add up. I'll explain it to you here real quick, Jeremy, because I know you have trouble. Oh, okay, that's right. It's 905 amps, Jeremy. Now, let me explain so you can go back and be a proper apprentice instructor. So you got 724 amps at continuous load. It was just a question. That's 905 amps. Now, pay attention. Go over and look at 240.4C when you're over 800 amps. Okay?
And you drop down.
That's right. So, and I don't remember the exact question, but the conductors have to be equal to or exceed the load, and then you drop down to your next standard size overcurrent device, and a 900 amp is one that you can purchase. It's not one that's listed in table 240.6a, but you can purchase that. And if you studied out a proper training material like our design book, there's a note there that tells you that, and you would have known how to select a 900 amp overcurrent device.
And we're talking about a feeder, right? Is that why we're going into
it? Wasn't even a feeder, I don't think. I think it was just a question, and I took it 125% continuous load. It's 905 amps, and then you drop down the next standard size for your overcurrent protection device, which is listed over in 240.4C, but apparently Jeremy doesn't know that section.
He doesn't. Sounds like it.
That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, well, I guess.
So your question has been answered.
Yeah, and he all of a sudden made it a feeder. So
it doesn't matter if it's a feeder or not. your overcurrent protection device, once you're over 800 amps, Jeremy, go over and read 240.4C. If it's 800 amps or less, you go up to the next standard size. This is why he has a problem understanding how to use higher percentages than 125%.
Right.
But anybody can go look at it. As a matter of fact, I'll just pull it up. Just give me a second. So everybody can see this and see what I'm telling you is the truth. Give me 1 second. I'll be logged on here, and then I'll take everybody over to see it, and then you can see for yourself. We'll do it on 2023 because I'm sure that's when the question was set up. So let's go over to 240.4C. Be right there in just a second. There we go. Okay, I'm over there.
And there's one request from Daniel.
Okay.
Every time we
I'm going to share the screen real quick so everybody can see it. All right. There we go. Everybody should see that okay. Let me put it on full here and then I'll...
Dude, why are you ghosting? Why are you ghosting, James?
Okay. Now let's see what it says. Where the overcurrent device is rated over 800 amps, the ampacity of the conductors it protects shall be equal to or greater than the rating of the overcurrent device, as defined in 240.6. Now, why that's hard to understand, I'm over 800 amps here, so my conductors have to be greater than or equal to what the load that's calculated here at continuous duty, Jeremy. That's 905 amps. I go down to the next standard size. Okay? Now, you want to look at that a little further. How would I go? Well, I don't even remember how many conductors we had there, if it was in parallel or not. But regardless, I can't answer that because I don't know what it was. But he was saying go look at 215.3. Well, let's go take a look at it.
Yeah, and dude, David, I'm coming after you, David. I'm going to try to get you in the death match, but it's getting harder, man. But that's another thing Weed Man was proved wrong. He's been proven wrong so many times. He said that you wouldn't finish the death match, and you're finishing it. So
okay, so let's take a look. Feeders shall be protected against overcurrent in accordance with Part 1 of Article 240. I'm done right there. That's all I have to do. Yeah. I was just in Part 1 of 240.4B. Or 4C, and that answered the question right there. Okay? So, Jeremy, we went and looked at what you said. And
hey, thanks for joining us, David.
Have a good night, David.
David gets sick of the little blowhards that come in here and try to talk crap and say, you're just ignoring 215.3, but what part was he ignoring? The part that said he was right?
I didn't ignore it. It said go look at Part 1, Article 240. I did. That was the first thing I went to, 240.4C. I mean, anybody that's watching this can see. I'm showing you where it says it. I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't even know what he's arguing about.
Yeah, I mean, what's it being ignored? I don't know.
I mean, I took what he said. It was 748 amps. And I did that at 125%. That's 900. Oh, wait, let me get there. I got that wrong. So it was it 742 or 724? What did he say it was?
Let's go back up. Was it 7?
No, he got for 900 amps.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
724, okay, 724. Yeah. And we take that at 125%. That's 905 amps. Okay. Now you go back, you look at 240.4C. It says the conductors have to be equal to or greater than that. Okay. So you go above that, and it says the overcurrent device can't exceed that. So you have to drop down, Jeremy. Anybody that's ever applied 240.4C, it states that. Then he said, well, go look at 215.3. What did it say? Go to Article 240, Part 1.
Dude, there you go. How are you getting this, dude? Like, So dumb, dude. Like, I can't believe he's an instructor. Man, I mean, like, dude, the overcurrent device is allowed to drop down, dude. They give you that in the freaking rules. We just read it.
Let me go back and read that so everybody can see it. I want everybody. This is the type of instructors we now have that, in his case, teach over at the union, and this just sort of proves what I've been saying about how far it's gone down.
Jeez.
Okay, let me share that. I got to read this again so everybody can see exactly what it says. And see if you agree with Jeremy what he says. Okay, so right here is overcurrent devices rated over 800 amps. Okay, let me get it on full screen. There we go. Now, what does it say right there? Where the overcurrent device is rated over 800 amps, the ampacity of the conductors it protects shall be equal to or greater than the rating of the overcurrent device. That means you got to drop down to the next standard size, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just make up we'll just go over here. Let's go to Article 310 so everybody can see this. And I'm going to go down here and I'm going to pick up 310.16.
Dude, we just showed what 215.3 says, and it says go to 240.4C.
It literally says it. I mean, but it goes to prove once you've proven them wrong, then they just keep going back and back, and well, in his case, he just doesn't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I expand the table here. So let's say I go with 246. That wouldn't be enough. So we'll go with parallel 3 times with 250. So we'll take 255 times 3. That's not enough. We'll say we do it at 4 times. Let's see. That's too much. Let's see. 230. Yeah, that'll work. So say we take a 4-aught parallel at 4 times, 75-degree terminals, that's 230 amps. You take 230 amps parallel at 4 times, that gives you 920 amps. That's right above the 905 amps. The conductors have to be equal to or exceed the overcurrent device. Now, Jeremy, what size overcurrent device you think's below that? Come on, Jeremy, you can do it. What size you think's below it? I can tell you real quick, it's 900.
Yeah. And that covers the 125% of the continuous load and the non-continuous load. So I don't see where you're confused. I don't see where you're lost.
Yeah, it literally says that the conductors have to exceed the size of the overcurrent device. So you go down to the next size, which is a 900 amp. This is once again where
I don't see where you're like. You're the one that has the problem reading.
No, it doesn't. What? I'm gonna tell you that he should be embarrassed arguing this point. Let me go back one more time so you can see this one more time, Jeremy.
I just don't get it. I mean,
okay, so we're looking at 240.4C. Okay, I'm gonna read it. Now, anybody that disagrees with this, you're more than free to comment, other than Jeremy, if you see this stated any other way than the way I'm about to explain it. Okay? So, let me get it. Now, pull it up in a larger size. Give me 1 second. Okay. So, here's 240.4C. Let's see what it says. Where the overcurrent device is rated over 800 amps. It says the ampacity of the conductors it protects. Now it says ampacity of the conductor protects shall be equal to or greater than the rating of the overcurrent device. Okay? Defined in 240.6. Okay? So if I take 4-aught conductors that are good at 230 amps and I parallel it 4 times, that's 920 amps. Are you saying that I need to put a 1,000 amp overcurrent device here instead of a 900 amp, Jeremy? Because it says the conductors have to be equal to or greater than the rating of the overcurrent device. How would I go up?
Yeah.
It literally says that. Okay. But if I come up here and look at 240.4b, what does it say? It talks about 800 amps or less. Oh, now I agree with you. Now I go up to the next standard size. But also, if I look at B2, the ampacity of the conductors does not correspond with a standard ampere rating or a fused circuit breaker without overload trip adjustments above its rating, but shall be permitted based on its adjustments and all of that.
He said it needs to be 1,000 amp.
How can you put it on 1,000 amp, Jeremy, if it says the overcurrent device can't exceed the ampacity of the conductors?
Yeah, and the conductors aren't rated for 1,000 amp.
It literally says the ampacity of the conductors it protects shall be equal to or greater than the rating of the overcurrent device. If you go up to 1,000, Jeremy, how is the overcurrent device equal to?
So David,
I don't understand what he's talking about.
Yeah, David's thinking the same way. I mean, to me, honestly, I don't see how 215.3 modifies anything in 240.
No, it doesn't modify. It literally tells you to go see Article 240, Part 1. Literally tells you to do it. And then you go look at the sizing of the overcurrent device. If you're over 800 amps, you drop down because it has to be equal to or exceed the rating of the overcurrent device. It literally says that. So how can the device be 1,000 amps?
He's saying you need to have 1,000 amp conductors.
No. That's not what it says. It says equal to or greater than. Okay? It doesn't say it has to be equal to. I mean, that is, oh my God.
I guess we will. Oh, man.
Let's go to myth of the week. I'm tired of arguing with him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's an embarrassment.
Myth of the week.
All right.
It's time for Myth of the Week.
All right, we have an awesome Myth of the Week this week. I really appreciate all the participation we had in the groups. This is literally what I pulled out of one of the light poles we were working on, and I just thought it was so funny because, like, my apprentice, he'd never seen that before, and he's like, "Why do they do this? What's going on?" You know, and it's kind of weird. And I joked around with the way that I wrote the way I wrote the code in this one, or wrote the question, and I said in the Myth of the Week that the NEC does not require 2 sturdy wraps of Super 33 around the wire nuts after installation. And you can be picky on whatever you want to say, like, oh, wire nuts is a brand name, and or wire connectors, or whatever you want to say, but literally some of the people had really good comments. Like, some of the people were arguing that this makes it like more water resistant, and that could be, but wouldn't you use a water resistant wire nut at that point? Like,
yeah,
why would
you would, because it's required.
Yeah.
First of all, when you're in a wet location, and plus if you use this tape, it's gonna hold moisture inside.
True. Yeah, and I was always taught, like, when coming up in the apprenticeship, that you always space the wire nuts spacing up inside the pole, so that if water does get in there, it comes down and it goes across it and drops down and drips down. It doesn't like fill up like an umbrella, like upside down umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. But I don't see how the tape would really help that much. I almost think the tape is worse. I think it would like retain moisture,
It would.
versus like shield moisture. So we had like a lot of really good comments. It was really awesome. I really appreciate everyone and all the awesome electricians in our group giving us stuff. And we're gonna get a special episode out there on Sunday so you guys get all the recognition. Like, it was so awesome. And I have some new ones coming up that I'm gonna bring out there with like single ground rods, supplemental ground rods, stuff like that, and just cool stuff that everyone's been asking me about. And apprentices are constantly messaging me, asking me questions like, "Hey man, what about this? What about that? My journeyman said this. My journeyman said that." And you know, a lot of times, I would say probably 90% of the time, your journeyman's right, but there is that 10% time where they have this myth where they're like, "Hey, tape your wire nuts always." And a lot of the comments that were my favorite were, if they see taped wire nuts, they see like a handyman special or somebody that doesn't trust their connections or something like that. So to me, honestly, that's what really makes me so proud of doing this segment, is just getting all those comments where everyone gives their feedback from across the U.S. You know, "Hey, I tape my wire nuts. I always do." Okay, cool. That's fine. If you like it and you're a good electrician, you get your connections nice and tight, you like to tape them, do it. But there's nothing in the code that says you have to, you know? So that's kind of the point of the myth of the week, to get it out there that, like, yeah, this could be some kind of common practice. Obviously, you could see whatever is in my hand is not sturdy at all. I mean, that was just slopped on there, and that was not protecting anything. So I don't know what you came up with, James, from your end, but from my end, I think it's myth busted. Don't do it.
Yeah, the only time I've seen where they required, and it was at a facility, that they wanted it wrapped like that. Of course, it was in a dry location, and they were doing it where they had vibration. They would come in, they would wrap on but they actually had it in their standards there to do it. They had, you know, they'd say, "Well, we got vibration here," and it wasn't 2 wraps. I mean, they wrapped it pretty good. But what I liked, that they actually had a thing to show their electricians the way they wanted it done, and that you always made sure that you went the direction, you know, twisting the cap on, but you started down at the wire and you put a couple of wraps there, and then you started wrapping up, and you'd go about halfway of the wire nut, and then they would come back down and wrap it. Right. And it was a tight connection, but I mean, they literally wrapped it. It just wasn't, you know, just a quick couple of wraps, and all due to vibration. That's the only time I've ever seen somebody required.
Right. And so it looks like my score prediction is busted because the Raiders just scored 7-0 Raiders. But I'm not getting the shutout tonight. But the one thing that that is a good point with the vibration. To me, honestly, if you get into that vibration situation, I would probably recommend like a different wiring method. And then there was actually some people that talked about a 110.3B, where they said that manufacturer instructions said to tape them.
And I've never seen that in manufacturer's instructions, but I've seen it through a facility required.
But the whole thing is, like, in the manufacturer instructions, would they tell you to tape it in a clockwise manner? You know, like
they should.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, that's one of the things. Like, would you be violating manufacturer instructions if you taped it wrong direction? And it was funny because there was a lot of sharp people out there in the myth of the week this week. That's like, that looks like it's wrapped the wrong direction. So I don't know for sure if it was, but it probably was the way it got real loose when we took it off. So that could be, but myth busted. Only tape your wire nuts if you want to. To me, what we ran into, and a lot of people mention, like in the pecker head of the motors, that they tape them up in there. A lot of times we don't even use wire nuts in that situation. We'll use either we'll use paddle crimps or we'll use clear taps. And then a lot of times what they want when we've been in like these big industrial motors is they want clear taps and they want a torque mark. They want them torqued to a certain torque. So we really appreciate feedback from David that he has to agree that you cannot go down for a 905 amp load per 215.3. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty explicit that it directs you back to 240. So, I mean, we'll have to kind of like maybe look into that a little bit more, David, and see. And I don't know how the overcurrent device has to be 1,000 amps when your conductors, I mean, at that point, then your conductors have to be rated for over 1,000. Like, it just becomes a,
You got to remember that load, that the reason you go down is because not that whole load's going to be going at the whole time. I mean, you got a lot of diversities and everything else built in there. And that's why they allow you to go down. I mean, and that's why they tell you, because they realize once you calculate the load, that's why they tell you, let me go back here because I want everybody to see this.
I mean, he's saying that it has to be 1,000 amp. Like, I'm not getting that. Like, just because 1,000 amps is standard size, like, I don't know. I don't understand.
Well, you can purchase 900 amp too.
Yeah.
But the point I want to go back here. Let me get out of that there. I had to bring everything back up because I'd already. It's like I was done talking about it. Okay, now we've looked at 240.4C. Now, what I want to go into is he was looking at 215.3. Let's go over and take a look at it. Now, when you pick up 215.3, what does it say here? Feeders shall be protected against overcurrent in accordance with what? Part 1 of Article 240.
Yeah, and David does bring up a good point that there's not a standard 900 amp overcurrent device, but that doesn't mean that it makes the question wrong. If you're able to purchase a 900 amp overcurrent device, then
well, you can, and just go pull it up on Google, whatever. You'll see you can purchase a 900 amp. But the point is, it says feeders shall be protected against overcurrent in accordance with Part 1 of Article 240.
Right.
Okay. So I come back here, I look at Article 240, and I pick up 240.4C.
Whoa. Was that 215.3 you just read?
Yeah.
So we have 15 comments in here, 20 comments in here to say, what does 215.3 say? 215.3 says go back to 240.
Yeah. And it says, where the overcurrent device is rated over 800 amps, it says the ampacity of the conductors it protects shall be equal to or greater than the rating of the overcurrent device. If I take 4 230 amps, parallel it 4 times, that's 920 amps. Okay? That's your sizing your conductors based on the load. And then once you base it off the load, then you're allowed to go down.
Right.
It literally says it right there. And the next size would below that's 900. You got the conductors there.
True.
I mean, I understand you're saying, you got to protect load, but you got to remember there's a lot of diversity and everything that's built into those loads. Not all those loads are going to be operating at the same time. In other words, your service ain't going to be pulling 900 amps at all times. That just isn't going to happen.
Dude, the overcurrent device does not need to be... Oh, wait, I was on the wrong one. The overcurrent device does not need to be 905 amps.
And I'll say this. We have been taken, and that same calculation Jeremy sat and arguing about, NFPA published our publications for 15 years, and that exact same calculation's in there. Not one person in NFPA disagreed with it, and that includes their senior electrical engineers who reviewed the book when it was being published. They reviewed all the calculations and everything, and nobody disagreed with it. And we've had instructors all over the country been using that book for freaking 40 years, and that same calculation we showed, nobody disagrees with it.
Yeah. And there's proof out there because those books have been sold for decades before you were even a blip on the map there, Jeremy. So,
Well, are you come on, chauffeur? You want proof that NFPA used to publish our books? I can show you that. We've already done that. We showed you the inside of their code book where they had our publications in there.
yeah.
I mean, you know, it's funny. You get these certain guys like Jeremy come on here. They think they know better than everybody else, and then you give them clarification and say, look, we've been showing this same calculation for 30 years. Nobody's disagreed with it. Now all of a sudden you get somebody like him come in, he thinks he's smarter than everybody.
Yeah. Like comment count higher than the national debate.
Yeah.
National debt. Oh man, Daniel.
But I'm just telling everybody, they've been using our publications for a long time. I remember when SBCCI used to give the test and stuff down in the southern area, and they used our publications to design their tests. Literally, and the reason I know that because I went up to their location and they wanted me to review some of their tests and the way they were asking the questions. And that was one question that was in there.
We're going to have to look into like kind of what these guys' angles are and see.
See, that's another thing. That's what I'm talking about. Diversity that's in the calculations. He's referencing 430, 53. And when you get in, you start looking at all the calculations and everything, that there's all kinds of diversities that are in there. True. That they calculate for. And it's not going to be pulling a full 900 amps. That's why they tell you that the conductor has to be equal to or greater than the overcurrent device. But the conductor has to be sized on the load. And whatever it comes out to, then you drop down. But it's only for over 800 amps. Anything above 800 amps, you got to go up to the next standard size. Okay, and it was that.
You're saying anything under 800 amps?
Anything under 800 amps,
right.
You go up to the next standard size. Once you get over 800, they tell you that the conductors have to exceed the rating of the overcurrent device. Period.
Yes, they do. 920 amps.
That's right. And what are the conductors based on? The calculated load.
Yeah.
That's taken at 125%, by the way, Jeremy.
Yeah. Oh, man. He doesn't like that one. Hey, oh, all right. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Look, you're getting a lesson tonight there, Jeremy. All right, let's go on to your topic then, brother.
All right.
All right, I got a big question for you.
Okay.
What's your topic gonna be after we get through the code changes?
I'll go over some stuff, different things, but we're finishing. We'll get through 6 tonight. Then next week, 7 and 8, I'm done with the code changes.
All right.
I mean, you gotta look. That's 281 changes we've gone over. Show me another podcast that's done that. That went through and showed you all the changes that are the main ones that we thought. that were 281 changes. You know, we didn't cover like 220.5E for load calculations where that like IAI didn't even answer it right.
Oh wow, dang. Hey, Weed Man smarter than you
I think
know.
anybody that watches these podcasts knows that's not true. It doesn't take a genius to follow along and see that Jeremy doesn't know what he's talking about.
Wow. All right.
Now, what they did here were we start in 625, and this is where we get into EVSE. And basically, what they did here was make a revision to clarify. And this is certain language that's regarding current adjustment. Okay? So, what they did, they added these additional items to require that this field installed adjusted current rating label, that it is to be field installed. And when you install this, you install it in accordance with 110.21. And I've gone over that so much over and over with that. But they did add an informational note, and this is just an example to help guide the user. But this is to give you an example of a current adjustment setting to your EVSE.
Like, to me, I think it's so stupid because just to give people the kind of color on this is they have like a little adjustable wheel in there.
Yeah.
And when you're installing it, and then you put that wheel at a certain ampacity. So, for example, I did number 8 on a 50 amp breaker. I didn't add 125% or nothing. And it was already baked into the unit. It said you set the dial to 50 amps. You close it up, you set it, forget it, and it says your charge rate's at 42 amps. Oh, wow, they're losing 8 amps of charge rate because I didn't add 125% to the branch circuit that I wired it with, you know? Like, they didn't even care. Like, the people I did this for, they didn't even care. It was so ridiculous. But now what they're doing, it's kind of a little bit of what we've been showing about this whole fear-mongering thing, is they're like, oh, somebody could come up there and turn it up to 60. Well, I guess if they do that, then they're going to, like, hurt. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's just so, to me, honestly, for this to be in the code is just kind of ridiculous. I mean, you know, yeah, you know, a meteor could hit it. Then are we going to have meteor protection on it? It just, I mean, I get it that the labeling is, you know, correct. Like, if all of a sudden they start having some issues or something, they call me out, that's cool. I go, oh man, it's smoking, it's catching on fire, and wow, somebody turned it up to 70 and it's only supposed to be on 40 or whatever. That is helpful to electrician, but to be in the code, I think is kind of getting a little ridiculous because they've had a lot of these applications in like a bunch of different situations with overcurrent, and they haven't had stuff like catch on fire or blow up or anything. So
Sure, and that gives a good example because they were saying you could have a maximum of 80 amps, but it was adjusted to 40 amps because you wanted to match that 50 amp branch circuit.
True.
So, yeah that's exactly right.
100%.
Now, they did a few little things here, but this is mainly getting into the disconnects, okay? And they're looking at your disconnects you got for multifamilies, and then you also have disconnects that are not listed for your EVSE, and then you've got your emergency shutoff that's dealing with these different type of equipment disconnects. So when you're looking at this, basically what they did, they made a revision for these disconnecting means, but the main portion behind this is getting into the emergency disconnects and the markings that are here also, and the locations where it's going to be installed. So like it's installed in a readily location, and it's not less than 20 foot, but it's not over 100 foot from the equipment, and it's in sight from the equipment. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a real big fan. Like, I know that was trying to like align with fuel stations, and I don't know. I'm not on board with that one. I'll
tell you why it is, and we wrote this in our comment here to explain this. The reason is because you got these charging stations, and they're supplying power to these electrical vehicles. And when you look at these are primarily where they're along major highways, and they're also becoming more available in public parking garages and working parking lots.
True.
That's the real main reason about the disconnects and the markings and everything that's here. But they got to be within sight and within 20 foot, no more than 100 foot. And then it'll be marked EVSE emergency disconnect. And then you have a warning: electrical vehicles will remain energized. Okay, which you should know that anyway.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's a little far-fetched. Like, if one of those EVs goes freaking sideways and stuff, like, hitting that disconnect's not going to do anything. That thing's going sideways. That thing's going up in a ball of flames. Like, it's going.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter if you shut the power off or not.
Yeah,
Like,
and you'll notice I don't have anything for 62554B because it was
rejected. Boom.
Now, here's another good one. And this is where you get in and you're dealing with these transport refrigeration units. And what they did, they added a new subsection here to require this special purpose GFCI protection for personnel. And these are for receptacles supplied by branch circuits rated at 150 volts or rated more than 150 volts to ground, and they're 100 amps or less. And this will become effective January 1st, 2029. So, they have time to develop the technology and power export and this type of GFCI protection.
Yeah, it sounds like there's, like, I don't know, man. I mean, that's weird. Like, I don't understand, like, why would they drive this?
Well, I'm not 100% sure because I hadn't seen any accidents or anything, but it will have to be SPGFCI. And furthermore, we actually have a great illustration showing what this is. But what this is, it's like a little, you got like this little tower thing. It goes up, you got one on each side, and then it goes across. Probably, it could go across 50 yards, 100 yards, whatever. And what it is, it goes across and it, you've got all these different things that are built in to this cross like beam that goes across, but it's all open and everything. And they mount all the equipment in there, and then they come down and it looks like sort of like a dryer vent. That's coming down that connects the dryer vent. It comes down, and that's where they pick up all their power and everything from this. That's what this is they're talking about for these transport refrigerated units. Okay. And we drew a real good illustration on this so everybody can see exactly what it looks like. More than likely, the type of stuff Jeremy gets and everything, they'll show a picture, but it doesn't really show you the equipment and stuff like we call out and tell you what to look at.
Yeah, well, he's got his whiteboard. He'll just draw it up on his whiteboard.
Yeah, I'm sure he does a good job.
The thing that I'm curious about is the 100 amp threshold. Like, really, what are you trying to protect at that threshold?
I can't answer.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's cool and all, but that would be my question is why would you need some kind of SPGFCI protection at 100 amp threshold? Like, I mean, if you're at the 100 amp threshold, like, to me, it just blows me away. Like, what are they protecting? Like, you're protecting personnel and equipment, per the code, but I don't know.
I'm not 100% sure why, but the thing that I had a question on it was, as I was looking through everything, I didn't see the technical data that was there or merit to even required in the first place.
True. 100%. I agree with that.
Now, this one is dealing with your critical operation data systems. And when you look at this, all they did is they made a revision here. And what they did, they added 2 new subsections here that deal with the replacements and modifications. And all they did here is make this change to ensure that the selective coordination is maintained anytime you have replacement parts are installed or if you modified the system.
True.
So they just want to make sure you reevaluate everything and make sure that that selective coordination matches up for these critical operation data systems.
Yeah, so just so everyone knows what selective coordination is, a lot of people are confused on it. My apprentice always asks me about stuff like this. So what you want is, so let's just say you have a switch gear, and then you have like a sub panel that feeds this data system. What you want is if something goes wrong or something goes phase to phase, something goes phase to ground or something, you want that sub panel to trip, and you want your critical operation panel to stay operational.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where they come into this selective coordination. Everyone has told me, I've talked to a bunch of people, and they say, oh man, don't you hate that when you short out like a recessed can, it trips at 1200 amp main? It shouldn't do that. That's not selectively coordinated. So if you trip out something that's like a 20 amp circuit or something, it should trip at that sub panel and not affect anything downstream. So that's basically the definition of selectively coordinated, is so that you have everything trip at the amps interval as it's supposed to.
Sure it is. And then what did they add here? Now, this is sort of exactly the same thing that we looked at last week. We had a lot of this where we talked about the equipotential planes and bonding of the equipotential planes.
Is this in pools?
No.
682?
No, pools is 680.
Okay.
When you get into 682, this is where you're going to deal with like your artificial water and things like that.
Oh, this I heard about this. Like, so like your play pools, and
Yeah.
your like your what do they call those, play parks or those water parks? And
Yeah, that's what it is.
okay,
Where you're getting
okay.
into that. And
Gotcha.
you'll notice they get into the copper grids and encapsulated welded wire and non-conductive circuit. It's pretty much the same thing. They're just tying in all this to make sure we're creating these equipotential planes around these areas.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
it gets into where it talks about artificial bodies of water.
Okay.
And then this is Article 690, and all they did here is they made a little change here, just a revision, and they did a little bit on, be provided, be located, be lockable, but it's item 4 where they made the change to clarify that you have to have a lockable enclosure cover that is to be used to maintain control of an open disconnecting means that's inside the enclosure.
Man,
And in other words, this restricts operation.
I will give you credit, Tommy Davis. You got the Tommy code up in there pretty deep. Like I say, like everyone out there, you could use a Billy Bolt. You still could use a Billy Bolt. It's still code compliant, but
For sure.
that's crazy. Like when one thing I want to mention too, and I was telling you about this. I did a podcast on abbreviations. PV is photovoltaic, and there's a lot of people that got that one wrong. PV.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah, 690 deals with your solar photovoltaic systems.
Yes, sir.
And then they had another one that took place here, and the main change right here in B1, and this is where you get into the ground fault detection, and then they did a little bit in the informational note, but all they did was make a revision there to clarify that where you have an electronic device, it's included, or the electronic device is included in a DC circuit, then you got to have GFDI protection for the entire circuit. That's all they really made a change on.
So one thing I want to kind of interject on in this one, which I think is kind of garbage, is all of this equipment is already built in with all this stuff. Like, you don't have to do anything. Is like us. So like, if you fail a test because of this, don't be hard on yourself, because we don't have to do it, because it's already incorporated in the equipment. All we have to do is know how to safely install the equipment. So
That's it.
that's kind of what I wanted to interject. I didn't mean to interrupt your presentation.
I
which was
didn't
really,
interrupt me at all. That
really,
gets us through chapter 6.
that was a really awesome presentation. But one thing I just wanted to say was that a lot of people say, "Oh man, you got to do this," and "Oh man, there's all this stuff we have to do," and "Man, they're putting in the code. It's gonna be hard." And it's not, because a lot of the code changes go to the manufacturer. They don't go to us. Like, so all we have to do is just safely install it, like the way we always install everything. And they already have all this ground fault detection in there. They have all this stuff already incorporated. All we have to do is make sure we get the connector installed correctly. The one thing I do notice about solar, we have to know about what the volts input is and the volts output. So if you have like a bad panel in a string, then you know like how to troubleshoot it, like to go up in the string and see like how many volts you have coming from this part of the string, how many volts you have going this part of the string. But it was really cool. Like, I was so thankful. Thanks so much for all the guys that helped me learn solar. But it was cool because I was going in there like running all the different conductors. Like, we probably could have did this whole thing with number 10s, but with like the continuous duty that's referenced. Where was it referenced at again? I can't remember. Was it 315? But
215.3.
Yeah. 215.3. All right. 215.3. But I'm just joking because there's so many 215 comments in here. I could just go up and scroll up like 10 times and I'll have a comment.
Well, he says, keep show it. We showed it 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And it literally said, go to part 1, article 240. And if it's over 800 amps, this is what it tells you to do. I mean, it wasn't and I read it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it is what it is, but I want to go to the Willie Quiz?
yeah.
You're going to love this quiz. It's so fun. Welcome to the Willie Quiz. Let me see. I don't even know if I have like my sounds even loaded up in here yet. Let me go over here real quick. I had this one. So I think I have a drum sound. Let me see. Let me see if it even works. I don't even know.
I'm just say, read it, you inbred. Now, see, this is the way you act when somebody has actually read it and proven you're wrong. But then again, this is the way the boys over at ECD act. They don't get their way. You show it, then this is how they act.
Oh, yeah, and Daniel. I had to get it.
Yep, I agree with it too.
All right. So, question number 1. What year did OSHA officially begin enforcing workplace safety standards? Was it A, 1969, B, 1971, C, 1975, D, 1978, or E, 1981? Good luck, everyone. Dude, Daniel's already out of the gate with B.
He'd be right, because it was, they did that, and then it was March 15th, 1972, that everything was grandfathered in before that. And if I'm not mistaken, I think when they put the act in, everything was like 1970. And then 71's when they started enforcing, and then they gave the date March 15th, 1972.
You guys are correct. We have 2 correct answers already, so congratulations. Question number 2. Which technology was first widely adopted to manage construction schedules and resource planning in large projects? Hint, it revolutionized 20th century project management. Was it A, BIM software? Was it B, Gantt charts? Was it C, CPM, critical path method? Was it D, cloud-based scheduling apps? Or was it E, layered task planning method, or the lighting task planning method, LTPM? Good luck, everyone.
Well, the only reason I have an idea what I think this is because my grandfather did it when my dad was working with it. And I remember when he was doing books, he sort of used the same sort of method when he was doing this. And I think it's CPM, critical path method.
Okay.
I think that was one of the first, and because I remember my grandfather doing this.
Oh, so you're going to copy Daniel. That's pretty risky. Let's see what's up. We have 2 correct answers tonight, and looks like we are going to have to do a tiebreaker at the end of this. All right, so question number 3. The first wearable construction safety device with a biometric fatigue tracking debuted in which decade? Was it A, 1990s? Was it B, 2000s? Was it 2010s? Or was it D, 2020s? Or E, it still doesn't even exist? Good luck, everyone.
That's a good question. I know it was 1990s, wasn't it? And 2000s, I don't think they really. I was trying to think because I'm trying to think when I had just my iPod player. That was in the 2000s. In 2010 is when you really started having all the smartphones and everything, and they had all the devices and all that. So I think around 2010 sometime, like 2018 maybe.
All right, let's see. Looks like you're going to copy Daniel again. 3 correct answers.
Yeah.
I cannot believe you guys are nailing these tonight, man. Wow, good job.
Doing pretty good.
Yeah. All right, question number 4. What federal act paved the way for OSHA by establishing research into occupational safety and health before enforcing efforts began? Was it A, the Fair Labor Standards Act? Was it B, the National Labor Relations Act? Was it C, the OSH Act of 1970? D, the Bureau of Labor and Safety Act of 1967? Or E, the IBEW? Good luck, everyone. You know what? One thing I haven't told you, James, is I make these easy. I try to be easy every time. I try to be easy. That's the best way to fool you. Is easy.
Well, like I said, because I remember it starting in 19. I'm gonna go with C.
Yeah. Paved the way. All right. So King James is going C. Let's see if Daniel comes up with the answer. Has Daniel posted one in there yet? Oh. Oh, copying Daniel, huh? Oh, man, you're always copying Daniel. Oh, man. All right, let's see. We have 4 correct answers tonight. Oh, my goodness, man. Just copying Daniel's like your secret to success there, James. All right.
Telling you.
So, which construction tech innovation first allowed architects to field crews to visualize a structure digitally before it was built? Was it A, computer aided design, CAD? Was it B, building information modeling, BIM? Was it C, digital twin systems? D, laser scanning, LiDAR? Or E, plotting with lighted overlays? Good luck, everyone.
Well, the only thing I can think of, first type of construction tech came out was CAD. I remember them. There was a company as in Louisville, and they would take the CAD drawings they had when they were, and it was pretty cool what they did. But they would have an overlay from a CAD drawing they would lay down, and then they go in the facility and they had all these icons for like panels and disconnects, motors, and they went in and they labeled it all through this CAD drawing. So I'd have to go with CAD.
Okay.
Boy, that was many years ago. I was like 30 years old when we did that.
All right, let's see. Oh man, yeah. Jacoby Brissett, the quarterback that torched the Cowboys last week.
You take any quarterback and torch the Cowboys right now.
That's funny. Let's see if Daniel wants to go a different way. Daniel is going to go. Ooh, Daniel's gonna go BIM. Ooh.
See, I thought BIM came after that.
Ooh, we might have. Oh yeah, he's going B.
Okay.
Oh man, we might have a challenge here. King James is correct. It was CAD. Yep. So King James gets a perfect score tonight on the topic that I didn't think he was going to do that great on.
I'm a stud, just admit it.
All right. So we have a tiebreaker. Daniel could still beat King James.
All right.
What was the estimated amount of injuries? I mean, not estimated, but recorded. Let's just say, what was the amount of the recorded injuries for 2024 from OSHA? Like, what is like closest to the exact number between both you guys? Between you,
electrical.
Just all injuries. All injuries, non-electrical. Like respiratory condition, hearing loss, skin disorder, anything.
Okay.
Just everything.
Well,
like total combined reported injuries, like, U.S. wide?
I guess I'm gonna have to think about this one for a second because I'm adding up in my head what because I remember what we did in our thing when we added for incident reports. So I guess that would include cars and everything, right?
Oh, everything, yeah.
Okay. So I would say I'm just adding them up because actually car accidents is more than any of them.
Oh, dude, trust me. Like, working out gas and oil, you have at least, like, 2, like, every 3 months or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot.
I would. Damn, that's a tough one. Because I'm thinking I'll go with probably about 80,000 somewhere in there, I would assume.
80,000.
Yeah.
That's a really good guess. But it looks like Daniel takes the win with 1.3 million. He was the closest without going over. So, man, I cannot believe. I can't believe it was that high. I mean, I got one with the spider bite, you know. But that was the reason I wanted to do it. Like, dude, it was so embarrassing. Like, I go in there to the emergency room, and it's like, what happened to you? Oh, propane tank fell on my head. I gotta get 10 stitches. Oh, yeah, what happened to you? Like, tried to jump off a trailer and fell, broke my leg, you know, like, dang.
I would have guessed $1 million. I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just trying to add up. I mean, if you
Dude, Daniel actually had redemption there because, you know, he's the 800-year guy.
Yeah, but
or was it 8,000?
he was way more than me.
8,000 year, like you did like 10-year and you did 8,000 or something.
Because I was adding up in my mind, I was thinking we've really reduced electrical injuries. You know, that's what I was thinking. It's been really reduced because it was up around probably 40,000 at one time, and then we've gotten it way down through 70. And I was like, well, no, we took that down, but I didn't have any idea. There must be a lot of car accidents and everything else happening.
Dude, I got bit by a freaking spider, dude, at work, man. I mean, it sucks.
I don't consider that an injury, no.
Yeah, but OSHA does.
They consider that an injury?
Yeah, as a recordable.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I was thinking somebody that really got hurt.
And I got fucking hurt, man. I almost lost my dang finger, man. But, I mean, you know, honestly, you know, not trying to be disingenuous to everyone out there. I mean, like, dude, I'm telling you, I was in the emergency room, and they're like, what happened to you? And I'm like, I got bit by a bug. You know, like, dude, it sucked. And then I'm sitting there, and, like, I didn't know what to do. Like, I was trying to, like, bandage myself up. Like, I had this one, like, Band-Aid. And it was, like, a big Band-Aid, but it was, like, not covering it. And so they're like, all right, you need to fill this out. And I was like, all right. And I went to grab the pen, and, like, I'm just oozing out everywhere, you know? And the guy's like, are you bleeding? I'm like, yeah. You know, like, that's why I came in here, you know? Like,
bleeding, damn it.
And he's like, oh, we'll have a nurse fill that out for you. I'm like, all right, you know? But it was just crazy, like, the whole disingenuine part about, like, people that are actually hurt and stuff. Like, like, here, fill this out. It's like, dude, I could barely even use my finger to fill this out, you know? Like, I'm going to be, like, writing, like, Wreck-'em Ralph and stuff. I'm just going to, like, palm it and, you know what I mean? And he's like, oh, well, it's mostly checkmark based. Well, then why would I have to do that? Like, with the injury, you know, it was crazy. But at the same time, the reason I do this is so much fun, and you got a perfect score and still lost. Daniel still took you out, dude. So, like I say, I told you, Daniel, just copy his answers and then just smash him in the tiebreaker, man. So, I set it up, man. I set it up, dude. You're done, dude. You're done. No more this year. Dude, there's probably like 10 weeks left in the year. Done.
No.
You're gonna get none, man. You're cut off. So we'll see. We know how to beat you now, King James, and thanks so much for bringing all your knowledge to the table. It's really cool. I was like really disheartened last week. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna fool him on some of these. Like, dude, you knew your.
I know those are pretty good.
You knew your Ace Frehley last week. I was like, oh dang. I was like, I went outside my jam on that one, man. Like you were Ace Frehley genius. So really big shout out to Adam Arub. Go check out Team SOS podcast, man. Adam made the intro, and I always do a pickle shot in tribute to Adam. Thanks so much, Adam. Appreciate you, brother.
All right, let's throw down your tool of the week.
Do it.
It's time for Tool Review of the Week. Sponsored by Electricians Only Tool Review and Nipex Tradesman.
All right, so I actually was approached by an apprentice recently, and he said, what's the best starter kit that you could recommend? And here it is. I like this. This one pretty much works for all across the board. You got your 11-in-1, you got your razor blade, you got your knife, you have your strippers, and then you have your side cutters. You probably need to get like a set of linemen's on top of this or something, but for like a 4-piece that's like under $100, like this is perfect. I recommend apprentices like go out, buy this as like their little starter kit, and get yourself like a little, I would say get a DeWalt tool pouch, because that's the best way to put like red tools in. Then you could like have controversy on the job site, be like, what? A DeWalt tool pouch? What? But I usually get like the little small tool pouch, and then, you could just clip it on your pocket. You throw all these in there. Boom, you're set. You're good to go. Your boss sees you with all your tools on. You got your strippers. You got your, screwdriver, and you got your knife. Pretty much all you really need. For starting, I would say with your linemen's, I use my linemen's a lot across the board. Like I use my linemen's for everything, but that's the only thing I could say. I could say 5 tools: your side cutters, strippers, a knife, your 11-in-1, and a set of linemen's pliers, and you're good to go. But to me, honestly, I really saw this and I thought, man, this is perfect to tell all you young apprentices, like, this is all you really need in your tool pouch. Now, you can expand on it, stuff like that, but I don't want to cross the lines of, like, the union and everything, because they have, like, their own tool list and everything, so there could be a chance that the IBEW says you can't have a knife unless your employer bought it for you. I don't know. I don't want to cross those lines or anything, but for a cool starter kit, this is perfect. Like for under $100, bam, you're set. I carry this knife every day. I love it. I won't leave home without it. I actually, really funny story, James. Went to the Rockies home opener, and I had that knife in my pocket, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna get it taken by security, So I freaking buried it in the planter. And then we went in there. It was horrible. Like, it was crazy. It was like the second coldest game in baseball history. Or like, it snowed in the 8th inning. Like, it was horrible. Like, dude, we were so cold and everything. But we were coming out of there. We left a little bit early. It was pretty much the end of the game. I think it was like bottom of the 9th or something. And I just went over there to that planter and just dug my knife out and put in my thing. And the dude's like, dude, that's ninja right there. I was like, yeah, it is, bro. I was like, didn't lose my knife. But it was pretty cool. I love my knife, and I like it has like little storage for extra blades and storage. You know, some of them have like a little screwdriver on there and stuff.
Yeah.
So different stuff like that. But as far as tool of the week, this is really cool for all you apprentices that want to just start out, get that basic foundation of tools. And like I say, I don't think any tool manufacturer out there really replicates that as far as it goes with the tools you're going to need and the tools you're going to use. You might just have to add lineman pliers, but all in all, that's my tool review of the week, and I like it. I do like red tools. Like I say, I use a lot of red tools. I mean, dude, I think I got my knife right here. Let me see. Bam. It's right there. Got my Milwaukee knife right here. Still, I won't leave home without it. And I will bury it in a planter if I have to, but it was funny. The dude was like, dude, that's straight ninja, man. You freaking saved your knife. I was like, yep. And it was crazy because I was like looking through the planters like, oh man, I hope I remember which one I buried it in, you know. And then I just saw the mark and I was like, boom. I was like, cool, let's go.
There's a will, there's a way.
Yes, sir. So what do we got? Man versus machine. Oh, dude, good one this week. Good one. Good challenging
what
one
it
this
is.
week. Yeah.
For years, man tried to create artificial intelligence. On this segment, we find out, is AI smarter than King James?
I don't have a worry if you getting this right. I think this is like a softball for you, but I went outside of kind of the National Electric Code. I went outside of NFPA 70. I went into NFPA 72, but I think this relates to NFPA 70 a little bit possibly, but we'll see what you think.
Duct detector, is this for like say fire alarm?
Yeah, so you have the duct detectors, and you basically put like EMT. It's basically drilled out EMT, and you put it in these ducts, you know, and so they're really not required to be supported. You just put them in there, and they could dangle a little bit, but then there's this certain dimension where they have to penetrate the other side of the ductwork.
So basically you're going through there and this is to detect something.
Yeah, and so like basically what they're saying is you're like detecting smoke inside the ductwork, and you can have like certain lengths that you just put in there, but then there's a certain length that has to go through the other side of the duct. And it's kind of a tricky length because it's like, so we always talk on this podcast, we always talk about, you know, NFPA 70, NFPA 72, NFPA 788, whatever, all of them, they all align. And this aligns with HVAC, this aligns with 70, this aligns with 72, there's a whole bunch of codes that this aligns with. And it's pretty interesting. I think you'll like it.
Well, I will tell you right now, I will be guessing at this.
I knew you would.
So I'm going to assume here.
And don't
And
even
it just, I assume it just has to go through. So I wouldn't think there'd be any width requirement. I think it's a detector. It'd be, you would check for, I mean, whether you had a 18-inch duck, you had a 4-foot duck. You know, I think there wouldn't be any requirement because it's a detector. So I'll go with E on this one. I have no idea. I'm guessing.
All right. So let's see what ChatGPT says. How's it say about it?
Let me go over here.
I have no idea. Like, just so everyone knows, I have no idea if ChatGPT is going to get it right, get it wrong, whatever.
Well, let's
but
ask it. Here we
you
go.
have to have, like, all the different standards put together.
It says 24 inches.
So the correct answer is 36 inches. It aligns with 70 with your conduit support. So any duct exceeding 36 inches has to penetrate the other side of the ductwork. So you could have, the reason I worded it the way I did, because you could have a duct that's 36 inches by 36 inches. And you have to penetrate the other side of that.
Okay.
If it's 34 inches by 34 inches, you don't. You could just put it in there and it's fine. It's going to be dangling a little bit inside of there, you know. But the only time when the code requires you to have support is when you're exceeding 36 inches. So it's the same thing as supporting EMT.
I had no freaking clue.
But it's so awesome. I knew you wouldn't. I got you. I knew you wouldn't. But it's so fun, dude. It is so fun because I got you and I got ChatGPT too at the same time. And you know what's funny about it?
That wasn't an NEC question, though.
It was a national. I'm gonna have to look because there could be National Electric Code that references you to 72 in 760. I'm gonna have to look that up because
I'm sure it referenced you to 760, but not because I don't remember anything in the code that goes in talks about a duct detector and it references you to that portion. It may reference you to NFPA 72, but not for a duct detector.
It's 100% in 72, but the thing is that it could be that 760 says when installing these devices refer to NFPA 72.
I never deal with 72, so there's no. It was total guess on my part.
So what's so funny is I got you. But the thing is that's so awesome is that I was actually proven to everyone out here who watches this podcast that all the codes and standards like apply to each other. So, like, if you know, like, 3 foot, 10 foot, 3 foot, 10 foot, 3 foot, 10 foot, boom. Oh, what is a sample tube? Sample tube's EMT with holes drilled in it. That's all it is. So, what do they want to do? They want to align with the National Electric Code and say, oh, yeah, if it's a duct over 3 foot, it has to go over the other side, and then that other side is considered support. Is that securely fastened? Probably not. But
I didn't even know what the sample tube was.
It's EMT. It's basically half-inch EMT.
Okay. I didn't even know that.
It's half-inch EMT with holes drilled in it. But the thing is, like, I didn't know it either. Like, I went and took a fire alarm class and everything. And, dude, I was, like, the biggest dumbass in there. Like, dude, they were just like, what? Like, you don't know this? I was like, no, I've never done a fire alarm. And it was funny because then they started saying, oh, yeah, if it's this size duct, you got to penetrate the other side. And then I'm like, oh, that aligns with NFPA 70, you know. And what was funny about this, you'll love, I asked ChatGPT on my computer, and it got it right. So that's what's so funny, because now you went and told ChatGPT it got it wrong. And
Yeah, I didn't quote section because I didn't know the section.
I could like it's just all you have to do is just say annex it NFPA 72. Because it's in the annex to NFPA 72 is where it quotes that.
Okay.
But
all right.
you don't have to say an exact section. But no, thanks so much for, joining in. That was fun times. Dude, I did that one off the top of my head because I was like, I need a good one to get King James.
That's good to me because I had no freaking clue.
To me, it's crazy because it aligns with, like, a lot of the apprentices are like, I don't know what this measurement is. I don't know what this distance is. And, like, it's like, anything less than 35 inches, you're great. You're good. Anything over 36 inches, you have to penetrate the other side, Mm-hmm. So it just gives you that ballpark. And what's that based off of? Freaking 358.30.
Yeah.
So, awesome. Thanks so much, everyone, for participating.
All right, we got one last thing. Wall of shame.
Let's do it.
Shame. 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 Shame.
I just want to get one last comment from Daniel, because he's probably crashed out. He says 1 million shame on this one. 1 million shame. Dude, I mean, the thing that was weird was that tap. Like, what were they doing? Like, it was so weird. Like, you should blow it up bigger, like, get it closer. Like,
I can't.
You can't? Like, dude, it's weird. Like, they have, like, the red conductor coming in there. It hits, like, a tap. Then it, like, splits out and then hits, like, 2 lugs. And then the center lug doesn't even look like it even does anything.
No, there's no bar going down.
Yeah,
I don't know why they did that.
It's like a blank lug that's just, like, I don't even know what.
That
like,
makes no sense at all.
Yeah, and they have plenty of conductor to just go straight in. Like,
yeah.
Like, I don't know. To me, it was just weird. It's a single-phase panel, obviously. It looks single-phase to me, but I don't know. And then, like, the walls cut open. They have all this stuff going on. I was just like, what?
That looks like crap.
But thanks so much, Tony Bell, for posting that in the Wall of Shame group.
Wow.
Like I say, like, pretty much almost all of them are just wow. Like, what do they do? Why are they doing this? Honestly, the thing that's so funny, and I've noticed this, I've had a lot of inspectors send me pictures and go, hey, what were they doing here, And then I'm just like, I don't know. But it's funny because then we go in, analyze them, just say, looks like people that don't know what they're doing. Like, one of the funniest ones, this is so hilarious. It was a single-phase transformer. And they had black wire and they had red wire going to the single phase part, right? And they had red tape, like, somehow, like, weirdly put on the black wire. And they had black tape weirdly put on the red wire. And I was like, I mean, if it was, like, deliberate, where it was, like, tiger stripes or something, I'd be like, oh, that means something. But it was just, like kind of angled and, like, real loose and just... Like, it just looked like somebody didn't know what they were doing. Like, I'm just like, I don't know why they would do that. Like, is it like AC reverse or something? Like, over here it's red, over here it's black, over here it's black, over here it's red,
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was like, I don't know. And then they're like, can you cite a code reference on this? So I was like, yeah, 110.12, not neat and professional. But I was just joking, but I was like, not installed in a skillful and professional manner, but, I was just joking around, but It's so much fun doing this podcast, bro. I'm getting ready to go watch Broncos.
Yeah, I know you are.
Whoop on the
That's the half.
Raiders. And I'm really sorry about, what was it again? What was that one? Oh, yeah, put some respect on Jacoby Brissett for smoking up on the Cowboys defense. Like, dude, it was weird. Like, the Arizona wide receivers were like open all day. It was pretty sad, you know. I mean,
Of course they were. Our defense sucks.
yeah, dude, Daniel, he does not deny your claim that the Cowboys defense sucks. So we at least have consensus on that, and like I say, we give our prayers to the great Jerry Jones to bring your team to salvation in the NFC. Oh, they're in NFC East, aren't they?
Yeah.
All right. NFC East, they got the Eagles. A pretty tough division over there, you know. Giants are over there, right?
And Commanders.
Ooh. Man, they just lost Jaden Daniels. So we'll see. At least you guys still have a quarterback. So we'll see. But thanks so much, everyone, for joining us. Make sure to check us out on Sunday. We will have a special podcast. It's going to be so awesome. King James is going to bring the heat with all his publications on Sunday. And he will probably school Jeremy another 137 times like he did tonight.
Yep.
So appreciate you guys joining us. Thanks so much. And as always, remember, make every day an easy day.
Everybody have a good weekend. We'll see you, some of y'all Sunday.
Deuces.